Good evening, and welcome to another edifying episode of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now here's your enlightening and illuminating host, Voice of Doom. Keep it going for a minute. You like Mark Levin? Oh, let it play, Mr. Producer. It's a good song. We'll leave it go. I am now going to finish my mini-series on education. I will continue from where I left off, and I will also give you my idea on how we can do it way better. Because I do say abolish and dismantle the public education system, but I don't say leave nothing in its place. It's much better way. Way better. Because I thought of it. Now, I didn't go into the news for the evening to see what else has been blowing up. Just heard a couple of conspiracy theories here and there. I get people in the restaurant, the bar, that are almost QAnon. I mean, they will accept any weird conspiracy theory, and it gets weirder and weirder. I mean, I'm going to talk about Watergate or anything like that. I mean, these conspiracies are really, really off the wall. But I heard rumors that certain liberal states are going to become sanctuary states for transgender kids. And if the parents don't approve, then they will be taken to those sanctuary states by whoever and given hormone blockers and the proper hormones to turn them into whatever they think they want to be. Which, from experience, give it a lot of thought. Don't go belly long into anything. Now, took that off. Another rumor I heard something on the radio about a plane either being shot down and or crashing in Greece that was from the Ukraine. And there was a big explosion because the plane was loaded with armaments, weaponry. And they cannot prove it, but they are guessing that it might be weaponry that we gave to the Ukraine on our dime that is being sold here and there and everywhere by the Ukrainian oligarchs. Now, it's unfounded. And if it was true, we will never know it anyway, will we? So we can talk about all the conspiracies we want. Just a couple things. Pretty diabolical and pretty scary. Now, let's go on with our tutorial on public education. Left you with Horace Mann basically wanting to create an overarching public school system throughout the country. And it was going to happen in dribs and drabs. It wasn't going to be overnight. But in the 1830s, probably through the 1940s or 50s, there was racism and sexism. Okay. We assume there would be. Why wouldn't we? Immigrants were told to discard their old heritage and Americanize, which I told you in my education thing a few episodes back that it's the exact opposite of what they're doing now. They don't want them to Americanize. They don't want them to discard their heritage. They want to make a salad bowl of America. And a lot of the old lettuce is going to be picked out, and we're the old lettuce. So make of that metaphor what you will. they did Americanize for a long time, and people did homogenize into one country, where people were Chinese, Japanese, Ukrainian, or Yugoslavian, or Irish, and they all Americanized, and we all became kind of the same. We had the same American accent. It's weird to see a Japanese guy with a southern accent, but whatever. I'm sure there are. A little bit of data. There are now 13,598 school districts in the U.S., what used to be A. 98,158 public schools. I don't know what year that's from, but there's a couple of numbers. Now, compulsory education, I wanted to discuss that just a bit. Compulsory means you have to go, you have to do it, you're compelled to by the powers that be. It took place mostly through the 1800s to the early 1900s, but by 1918 there was compulsory education up to 8th grade for every person in America, what it used to be. Now 1918, I just found that out. I was going to make a guess to when it became compulsory, just based on how the powers that be operate, and I was going to say that around 1913 or 14 when they would make education compulsory. Why would they do that? Well, what happened in 1913 under the great, late, comatose Woodrow Wilson, Democrat and racist? What happened in 1913? The income tax. Now, in order to create more tax, you need more income, and in order to get more income, you have to have both parents working, don't you? And what better way to have both parents working than to have compulsory education? But it turned out to be 1918, which is pretty close. I think it's correlated by my reckoning. And that's when the public school system became a babysitting service, with the added bonus of learning stuff that you really can't use in your life. Let's talk about education theorists. Some were considered to be the best of the best, and they were ignored. But some were not ignored. Now, John Dewey, 1859 to 1952. He was an educational theorist, I guess you would call him. He was a pragmatist. Pragmatism means practical approach to solving problems. It's a philosophical thing. And I like pragmatism. I think that's the way to go. But this John Dewey character was a bit of a red pinko socialist. His idea of a practical approach to solving problems consisted of imagination, suspending judgment, engage in playful consideration of possibilities, explore doubtful possibilities, ambiguity, and I added, just to kind of condense things, there is no objective truth or reality. There is none. And I believe most things are subjective, but there is an objective truth, and that is cause and effect. I've told you over and over again. Put it in simple terms. Now, I don't want to go too long with that. I just want to say that Dewey invented the Dewey Decimal System, which helps people to figure out where books go in the library itself, and I became a librarian in 4th grade, and I was proud of it because I accomplished it. I took the quizzes with the other classes and I aced them, and they said, "Do you want to be a librarian?" I said, "Sure," because I love books. And I could get out of class like 2 hours out of the week to go do my library duties, so that was pretty cool. Let's move on quickly. Dewey was a pinko. It was in the 30s that he initiated what we know of today. I read you that passage from To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, and it's good to show that it's nothing new. It's we'll do the teaching, don't you teach your kids. Really trying to take kids away from their parents. And they have commercials on the radio about fatherhood, and go to this website to learn how to be a father, learn how to tell jokes, learn how to, I mean, you got to give lessons. I mean, maybe you do, yeah, but whatever. They don't do it with mothers. They certainly don't do it with fathers who want to be mothers. Okay, let's go on. You who are on the road must have a code that you can live by. I'm going to say the road is the road of life. Code is a code of conduct, code of ethics, something that you can believe in, and so become yourself. And you get into a nest of vipers. Become yourself. You don't know who you are yet, but we're going to tell you who you are. You're the opposite sex. Because the past is just a goodbye. Okay. It's Graham Nash. Pretty good lyrics. Teach your children well. Their father's hell did slowly go by. In other words, these guys were part of the hippie generation, and get rid of the establishment, get rid of all old ideas, stuffy old conservative ideas, and let's pursue free love and etc. The father's hell was that he was strict, maybe. And feed them on your dreams. The one they picks. The one you'll know by. Okay, we'll leave that alone. Don't you ever ask them why. Don't question your parents, just ignore them. If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and sigh, patronizingly. Oh, you dumb parents. I want to be a guy and call me he. And know they love you. Okay, that's fine. It's great. I like the lyrics, but it's very indicative of the times. It was 1970. All hell's breaking loose in every shape, way, and form, just like now. But assertion of the kids from the parents. I only have a few more minutes left. I'm going to tell you my idea of how this can all be solved in one fell swoop. If I was in charge, we would have a planet that would be blissful. Planet where everybody would join hands and sing Kumbaya and eat well. But we don't have that now. So what do? You abolish and dismantle the public education system. Get rid of the teachers' union, get rid of the teachers. Sweep them away. The administrators, sweep that all away. Now let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater, so you keep the buildings. You keep the gymnasiums, you keep the basketball courts, you keep the technological centers that they have in high schools now. You keep the wood shop. Keep all the equipment, be like Petri dish and give it all to the terrorists. You keep it. Now, what do you do with those buildings? What do you do? You have public community education centers where there's way more fluidity. There's way more freedom to pursue what you want to pursue. You want to be a welder? Take a welding class. Or we have welding, 4 days a week at this time. Be there, be unemployed. Pursue what you want. Don't go to 5 classes, get up at 7 in the morning and have to be to school at 5 to 8 before the bell rings. Take a class when you're half asleep. Trigonometry. Yeah, I've used that a lot in the last 50 years. Used a hell of a lot. Go to gym the second period so that you're still tired, but now you're going to go run around and work up a sweat, take a shower, and go to your next class, which is biology, which I actually enjoyed. I mean, I would take it again just for fun, because it's really interesting. But in my system, you do what you want. If you don't want to take math, don't take math. If you need to take it later because of something you're pursuing, you'll have to work on that. You have to make your own curriculum. And if you don't show up for school, you don't show up. No one saying, we're not going to keep track of you. You're supposed to be in school. It's compulsory. So if you were kidnapped and we didn't take roll and we didn't notify the parents, then we're going to get sued. Okay, forget that. You're on. You go if you want to go. You come when you want to come. You want to play basketball, play basketball. You want to go to the wood shop and build something, do it. And then you have instructors. You have people that actually teach. I told you what teaching is. Teaching is to cause to acquire knowledge or skill. That's all you need. No? Group therapy session with 6-year-olds talking about your 3 or 4 people you have in the relationship because you're, what do you call those? I don't know, and I don't want to know. Multi-partner or what have you. Oh, they're so good. They're so enlightened. That's basically it. It's very simple. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. You know, you got the fields there. You go play baseball. You get a baseball team going. Maybe under some aegis. We don't belong to a school, but, you know, we put this team together and we'll call ourselves the Barracudas, or I don't care what. The Toothless Idiots. That's it. I've said quite a bit. I like having notes because then it goes by fast. I can just rattle it all off. But I had that idea about public education, forget the public, a long time ago. You need community facilities, and anybody can go. Anybody. If you're old, like me, and I want to learn how to oil paint, I can go and learn to do that. Funding, okay, it'll be locally funded. And you might have to go to Ben Franklin and, you know, take up a collection, who knows. But you don't have the federal government with their sticky hands saying, here's the money, but you better do things this way. Forget that. It's not going to work. It never did work. It's got to be abolished. It's got to be abolished soon. And people are talking about it. Get your kids out quickly. Oh, God, if I had a kid in kindergarten right now, I'd just take them out. And I'll homeschool them, and you're not keeping track of me either, so forget that. Send the truant officer in his little VW bus. So I think I said quite a bit. That's not too bad. It's a little long. So try to figure something out over the next day or two, and we'll see what happens. I'll come up with some other topic. I'm coming up with all kinds of stuff now. It's a potpourri of madness. We'll call that my next title. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, good night and enjoy the evening. It's very hot right now in Reno area, Carson City. It's still 85 out. It's 10 o'clock at night. So that's that. Goodbye. Red wine cooler.